Tucker Carlson getting the last laugh? I mean, he may be, in fact, laughing all the way to the bank on this one, because his nemesis, I say his nemesis because we know some of the things that Chris Wallace has said about him. His nemesis, Chris Wallace, is in the news these days. A report out of In Touch that was cited by Yahoo Entertainment News claims that there's a whole bunch of deck chairs that are about to change over at CNN. And in fact, Anderson Cooper, Chris Wallace, and more could be on the chopping block amid this new CEO, Mark Thompson. So he came over from the New York Times and he's sitting there and he's like, what the heck? All these TV people, oh my gosh, they make so much money. And Mark Thompson, who probably doesn't make what Anderson Cooper or Chris Wallace or the others are making, is sitting there going, I don't understand this. What is this star system that they have over at CNN? Why do these people make so much money? And, you know, he's kind of struggling. I mean, the whole business is struggling because none other than this, right? What we're doing here right now. Streaming media, it has totally upended the traditional cable legacy media outlets. And so they're struggling as they try and make ends meet, as the advertising models completely shift, and as the profitability margins get incredibly squeezed. And so let me quote from this story. Let's go to this. It says, big bucks talent will become history at CNN as the spiraling network's new honcho slashes budgets and takes aims at anxious anchors with oversized salaries. According to insiders, this is the report from Yahoo News Entertainment. New CEO Mark Thompson is preparing ruthless cuts to remake the network as ratings plunge, leaving Anderson Cooper, Chris Wallace, Wolf Blitzer, and Jake Tapper facing dates with the Axemen, a source says. Quote, Anderson knows he's on the chopping block because he makes a whopping $20 million a year. He's already starting to look for a new gig. A network insider exclusively tells In Touch Chris Wallace takes home $8 million and figures he's a likely target too. Well, at least they recognize that the handwriting's on the wall, right? Everybody's an adult about it. I'm still looking at it though, and I'm going, you know what, Chris, if you had a big enough following, why wouldn't you have done what, frankly, most intelligent personalities nowadays do? And that's do their own thing, right? Look at all the people that have left Fox, whether it be yours truly, myself, whether it be my former colleague, Megan Kelly, whether it be my former colleague, Lou Dobbs, whether it be my former colleague, Tucker Carlson. Well, you know, everybody's kind of moved on and done their own thing. Anybody that can. Right now, I don't know, you know, maybe Chris Wallace needs the paycheck, although I kind of doubt it. I mean, did he not invest well? We're going to have more on that coming up. Over the years, I mean, did you really need to go to CNN for the paycheck? Here is Chris Wallace talking about his former colleague, my former colleague, Tucker Carlson, on his, I guess, CNN show. I don't actually even know where you can watch the guy. But anyway, here he is. He's kind of ornery because Tucker got that big interview, you see, with Vladimir Putin. And Chris Wallace, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Was he a little tad jealous? Take a peek.
Tucker Carlson showed up in Moscow this week to interview Vladimir Putin. It turned out to be anything but an interview. Putin droned on for 2 hours and 7 minutes, while Tucker sat there like an eager puppy. Occasionally, but rarely, he got in a question, like this one about the power of the deep state in Washington.
It sounds like you're describing a system that's not run by the people who were elected in your telling.
That's right. That's right.
But more telling than what Tucker asked is what he didn't ask. Nothing about why Putin invaded a sovereign country. Nothing about targeting civilians. Nothing about Russian war crimes. A reporter can ask Putin a tough question if he wants a real interview. Why is it that so many of the people that oppose Vladimir Putin end up dead or close to it? But apparently, that's not why Tucker went to Moscow. During the Cold War, gullible Westerners who spread Soviet propaganda were dismissed as useful idiots. But calling Tucker that is unfair to useful idiots. No, he's made a cynical decision to chase MAGA's affection for dictators. And what better way to cash in than Putin's Kremlin?
Whoa, ouch, 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 ouch. But I'm laughing. I'm laughing actually really hard because it was his way of getting his little interview in there from 2018 maybe, with Vladimir Putin asking the tough question. Of course, we never got to hear the answer. I would have been kind of curious to hear that. Like, it's pretty clear that somebody was a little ornery about this. I'm just laughing at it because I'll tell you, they think that women are bad in television. Let me tell you, men can be pretty bad too. And I think he's a bit of an example of that. Tucker had a funny thing to say about him, actually, when he was talking to Donald Trump. You guys may have seen this. I have played it for you before, but I want you to take a peek again because he calls him a fussy little man and something else too. Watch.
When I debated him, I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it he wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent? It's one of the
Little man.
He wanted to be his father, but he didn't have the talent of his father was great. His father,
little fussy man.
His father interviewed me in 60 Minutes.
Oh, that was priceless. Really and truly priceless. Anyway, look, I think that whether Chris Wallace goes or not this time around, the reality is such that CNN cannot afford their big ticket anchors anymore because there's been such a remarkable change in this industry. And it's one that we talk about, this sort of connection that you and I have here. And this is a live show. And yes, I see your comments live and I'll get out to a lot of these comments momentarily. Thank you. Oh, that's very, very complimentary of you, Ed Wizard. But the reality is such that in this new day and age, those legacy media networks where everybody's pretending like they have absolutely positively no bias, but they have a ton. Well, those days are over.